Hello everyone and welcome back into the Blowpar YouTube channel with myself, Joe Stevens, and today we're here on the third tee on the red course at the Berkshire Golf Club, and I'd like to talk to you about a couple of tips on shot shaping, how to shot shape and where you should shot shape. As always, you know the drill by now, everybody. I will remind you, please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you are new and if you enjoy the content. If you'd like to, of course. So let's get straight in with today's video. So as you'll have seen, you'll see my three props here. Hopefully this is going to give you a really good representation on how shot shaping works. So the first stick that I will pop down here, I'll show you an overview once I've got all these sticks down and laid for you. The first stick I'm going to lay down is this yellow stick, and luckily with this tee box, as you'll see as it's cut, it actually aims pretty much straight down the middle of the fairway. So if I'm setting up to my shot here, this yellow stick now is my target line, okay? So that's where we want the ball to end up. With the shape of this particular hole, you'll see that it moves ever so slightly from left to right as a dogleg. It's a par 5, we're hitting driver every time here, so this hole should be a really good representation on where you should be hitting particular flights. This of course is a very basic outline on how you hit these shots and where you should hit these shots. Of course, if you're local to the area where I am based, please do drop me a message on Instagram, all the links will be below, if you do need a lesson on how to do this and learn how your body works in order to hit these shots. Be reminded that this is a very basic outline, but hopefully it will certainly give you the steps to work towards ball flights and how to get yourself around the golf course more efficiently with shot shaping. So my number one rule of thumb, if you are a golfer that can shape it both ways, hopefully after this video you'll be able to work towards being that person if you're not already. My number one rule of thumb is start the ball away from the danger. Look how wide that left-hand side is down here on this hole. There's a heck of a lot of room down that left-hand side. So in an ideal world, we would like to be moving this ball from left to right. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about now. So you'll see my target lines I put down there earlier. There's two more elements as well as our target line to this shot shaping scenario. So we know that we'd like to, as a right-hander, move the ball from left to right off of this tee. Our club path, I think everyone will have guessed it, needs to be traveling to the left. So that's where we will be putting our club path, which is this other yellow stick, for this particular shot. So this gives us a really nice rough idea the direction that the club itself should be moving. But in order to start that ball in the correct place and get it to end up on our target line, our club face, which is this black stick here, should be pointing in a very particular position. For this fade, we need this club face to be close to the target, of course, because we need to be moving the ball from left to right. But in order to get that curvature, the club face needs to be open to the swing path in order to make that curvature. So if I lay that down there, these are our three key lines. So that is how basically the mechanics of how this shot is hit, but we need to do some things within our body to understand how we move the club face to the left and how we control the club face. So you'll see the stick on the right hand side is our target line, the one in the middle is our club face, and then our path should be moving to the left. So I'm going to tee my ball up and talk you through the steps that I will take in order to hit this shot. I'm now ready in place, ready to hit my shot. The two simple steps I will take hitting this shot, of course we can go into more depth. I would always recommend going to see your local PGA Pro. If I'm local to you, why not come and see me and we'll clear all of these elements up. But as far as YouTube tuition goes for today, this should really help you. For this fade example, we've got our sticks down on the floor. I'm going to set up to the shot. Now, the first thing to tell you, how to control your club path. You'll see that I do this when I talk about club path. Your shoulders have the biggest influence on the direction that your club is going to move through the golf ball. So I would preset this for the sake of simplicity for this video. I would preset this so we know that the club club path needs to be traveling to the left. So all I will do simply is take my normal setup for what would be a straight flight, and I will then shift my shoulders. You'll see how I've shifted my shoulders ever so slightly to the left there, and all I'm going to start to feel is as if I swing down that shoulder line. It's as simple as that. With regards to the club face, you'll see on the black line in front of me here, obviously you haven't got the aid of alignment sticks out on the golf course, but what you do have is, if you're able to come and stand in behind where you are there, is if you're able to pick a point just in front of your golf ball, but ever so slightly to the left in this scenario, that is where you need to be aiming to start your golf ball. If you're starting it on your intended target line, and we're going to be on to a winner, hopefully. So let's set up this shot and see how I get on. So I'm going to set up as normal. I know that I'd like to move this golf ball from left to right. I'm going to open my shoulders. I've picked my point straight in front of me there, and I'm going to swing down my shoulder line. Overcooked it a touch with the left to right movement, but because I'm starting it far enough left down this particular hole, it's overcooked, but it's only just run into the right rough. I could have started it even further left and would have been absolutely fine. But these are all the scenarios that you can play around with on the golf course, and hopefully it will help you. So having just wandered down ready to hit my next shot from that tee shot, you'll see actually it's just caught the fairway. So you can see how much room there was out to the left there. So I did slightly overcook it. I could have changed my alignment even further left, but you'll see that by starting the ball away from the trouble, this being the trouble, I'm actually absolutely fine, and I can start to attack this par 5 in 2 now. Let's move on to the draw, which will be the next tee. So now we find ourselves on the next tee, where actually a draw is the best option, because that starts the golf ball to the wider part of the fairway. If it stays there, we've hit it absolutely perfectly. If it turns over, yes, it's turning towards the trouble, but we're starting the ball away from the trouble, like we said on the fade video. So let me set down these sticks and show you how the draw works. I think you've got a pretty good idea of how it works already, but let's go through it. So we've got our target line. Again, luckily the stripes are cut pretty much down the middle, but ever so slightly to the left on this hole. So as we start to put them down, we've got our target line. So hopefully you can see that really, really clearly. With a draw, it's the complete opposite. So we know that we want our club to be traveling in the direction out to the right. So our club path, which is the same stick as earlier, needs to be traveling to the right of our target line, which is where we eventually want the ball to end up. Then of course, you guessed it, the club face needs to be somewhere in between. So we need to be closed to the path in order to get that curvature from right to left, but the ball needs to start to the right of target. So I'm going to sit this stick down just here. So hopefully you can see that really clearly. I'm going to move the camera in just so you can see. So you'll start to see now those 3 lines. We've got our target line on the left, club face in the middle, and the club path out to the right hand side. So hopefully that makes it really, really clear. You'll start to see down there, actually the wide part of the fairway is down the right hand side. Got a couple of bunkers lurking down the left, so we don't want to be starting that too far left. We want to start the ball away from the trouble if we can. So now we're set up behind the golf ball and ready to hit our shot. So very much like the fade, we're going to set up to our shot, and we're going to pick that point just in front of the golf ball, but slightly to the right. That's going to be our starting line. That's going to be the best visualization of club face control. But one more thing that you can do with the draw, because this is typically the harder one to hit, is I would start to adjust my grip ever so slightly, not lots. And again, this is where lessons come in and really handy. So, but what you'll find really, really helpful to get that rate of closure of the club face is simply, typically I'd say 2 knuckles on the top hand. Really, really easy to see this with your glove off. So if you're practicing this shot, easy to do it that way. But typically I'll say 2 knuckles. Let's maybe move it to 2.5. Just wrap that hand slightly over the top of the grip, slightly, which is going to help that closure of the club face and get that ball starting a little bit closer to where we want it to be. So we've got our starting point. What we're going to do now is we're going to take from a neutral position our shoulders, just close them off ever slightly. You could even go there with your feet, but the shoulders, as we said, are the biggest influence on that club path. So we're going to set up and we're just going to swing down that line and trust that ball's going to come back. So it's in the fairway, that's great. Much like the fade, I've overcooked it a little bit, but again, a really good example actually, the fact that I have overcooked it, but I'm still absolutely in no trouble at all because I'm starting the ball away from the trouble. Hopefully all that makes sense. Let me know if you've got any questions. Instagram links are down below. Joe will help as well. Drop us a question if you have any queries. Hopefully that helps you. If you haven't already, please drop a subscribe. That really helps us out. And we'll see you soon with some more tips.